By Sunshine Bode 5 years ago, when my son Leaf was 9, he fell ill with a virus. The virus attacked his heart and flooded it with fluid. The pressure from the growing pool inside his heart tore the muscle fibers. In a matter of weeks, he was transformed from a healthy kid to a critically ill hospital patient with only one hope for survival, a heart transplant. Needing a life-saving transplant is truly awful for any child and family. For children with a disability, the challenges are even more immense. Leaf has autism and is a non-speaking person who types to communicate. He struggles with sensory disturbance, profound motor planning difficulties and perseverance behaviors. Because of our son's disability, the doctors at our local children's hospital told us that no facility would perform the transplant, and we should prepare for him to die. Then 2 other hospitals, one in Seattle and one in LA, refused to consider him. That left Leaf with only one last West Coast option. As Leaf's condition swiftly deteriorated, a young physician at our local hospital pleaded his case to Lucile Packard Children's Hospital at Stanford University. The hospital was persuaded, and opened its doors to us. We were warned that Leaf would not survive the flight from Portland to California. As we flew through the night, Leaf's heart stopped again and again. When we arrived, he was outfitted with a standard bridge therapy. This cumbersome computer and heavy batteries that hang from outside the body had the power to extend his life by years. The device is used by 7,000 children and adults. Our local hospital had failed to make us aware that this therapy existed. Discrimination is a common barrier faced by people with disabilities in need of life-saving care. Only a handful of states have banned bias in transplants. Until more states act, this discrimination will persist. Leaf's medical odyssey spent a year of continuous hospitalization, nearly half a dozen open heart surgeries, and countless grueling procedures. Throughout, Leaf defied everyone's expectations and acquired abilities such as improving his communication so that he was fully able to participate intellectually in his care. He was 100% compliant with his treatments. His remarkable endurance and patience exceeded those of most neurotypical adults. The culmination of his medical journey was receiving a precious gift of life, a human heart. He was likely the first person with severe autism to undergo a heart transplant. Sadly, he's likely not the first person who has needed one. Transplant programs are given wide latitude in deciding whether to take a patient's disability into account. A 2008 study by the Stanford Center for Biomedical Ethics found that 43% of the 50 pediatric heart, liver, and kidney transplant programs surveyed always or usually considered neurodevelopmental delays, while 39% rarely or never did. This discretion creates an opening for ingrained stereotypes and false assumptions to influence decisions. Some transplant teams might assume that people with disabilities are incapable of making it through the rigors of a grueling marathon of medical procedures involved in a transplant, or that they're unable to care properly for themselves post-surgery. While the Americans with Disabilities Act explicitly prevents discrimination in medicine, there is no mechanism for enforcement.